Alright, y'all, so I'm back with another Bible reading. I've read my Bible every day, but I haven't made a video here in a little bit. I'm actually currently working on one, so that'll be coming out soon. But for now, I wanted to get back on every day posting a Bible reading video because I think I should. I think it'll help me to remind myself to be a little bit better as well, and it helps me get a video out every day. So, for now, I'm just going to start, and I will have more probably tomorrow, hopefully, if I can remember. If I can wake up early, then I'll have another video. So, I'm just going to start right now. I am on 2 Chronicles 21, page 378 to 379. Hashbet and his people went out to plunder the bodies and came away loaded with money, garments, and jewels stripped from the corpses, so much that it took them 3 days to cart it all away. On the 4th day they gathered in the Valley of Blessings, as it is called today, and how they praised the Lord. Then they returned to Jerusalem with Josepheth leading them, full of joy that the Lord had given them this marvelous rescue from their enemies. They marched into Jerusalem accompanied by a band of harps, lyres, and trumpets, and proceeded to the temple. And again, I haven't read out loud in a minute, so my reading is going to be terrible, but that's fine. I'll get back into the flow of it. Trumpets and proceeded to the temple. And as had happened before, when the surrounding kingdoms heard that the Lord himself had fought against the enemies of Israel, the fear of God fell upon them. So Josepheth's kingdom was quiet, for his God had given him rest. A thumbnail sketch of King Josepheth. He became king of Judah when he was 35 years old and reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Ahuzba, or Azubah, the daughter of Shaliah. He was a good king just as his father Asaiah, or Asa, was. He continually tried to follow the Lord, with the exception that he did not destroy the idol stones on the hills, nor had the people as yet really decided to follow the God of their ancestors. The details of Josepheth's reign from first to last are written in the history of Jehu, or Jehu, Jehu, the son of Hananiah, which is inserted in the annals of the kings of Israel. But at the close of his life, Josiah, or Josepheth, king of Judah, went into partnership with Ahaziah, king of Israel, who is a very wicked man. They made ships in Ezion to sail to Tarshish, or Tarshish. Then Eliezer, son of Dudava from Marshah, prophesied against Josepheth, telling him, "Because you have allied yourself with King Ahaziah, the Lord has destroyed your work." So the ships met disaster and never arrived at Tarshish. When Josepheth died, he was buried in the cemetery of the kings in Jerusalem, and his son Jehoram became the new ruler of Judah. His brothers, other son of Josepheth, were Azariah, Jehiel, Zechariah, Azariah, Michael, and Shephthan. Again, I'm still bad at reading these names, so my bad if I'm reading them wrong. I probably am. Their father had given them each a valuable gift of money and jewels, also the ownership of some of the fortified cities of Judah. However, he gave the kingship to Joram because he was the oldest. But when Joram had become solidly established as king, he killed all of his brothers and many other leaders of Israel. He was 32 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. But he was as wicked as the king who were over in Israel, yes, as wicked as Ahab, for Jehoram had married one of the daughters of Ahab, and his whole life was one constant binge of doing evil. However, the Lord was unwilling to end the dynasty of David, for he had made a covenant with David, always to have one of his descendants upon the throne. At that time, the king of Edom revolted, declaring his independence of Judah. Joram attacked him with his attacked him with his full army and with all of the chariots marching by night, and almost managed to subdue him. But to this day, Edom has been successful in throwing off the yoke of Judah. Libnah revolted too, because Joram had turned away from the Lord God of his fathers. What's more, Joram constructed idol shrines in the mountains of Judah and led the people of Jerusalem in worshiping idols. In fact, he compelled his people to worship them. Then Elijah the prophet wrote him this letter: "The Lord God of your ancestor David says that because you have not followed in the good ways of your father Josepheth, nor the good ways of the king Asaiah, but you have been as evil as the kings over in Israel, and have made the people of Jerusalem and Judah worship idols, just as in the times of King Ahab. And because you have killed your brothers, who were better than you, now the Lord will destroy your nation with a great plague. You, your children, your wives, and all that you have will be struck down. You will be stricken with an intentional disease, I don't know what that word is, disease, and your bowels will rot away." Then the Lord stirred up the Philistines and the Arabs living next to the Ethiopians to attack Jeroboam. They marched against Judah, broke across the border, and carried away everything of value in the king's palace, including his sons and his wives. Only his youngest son, Johaziah, escaped. It was after this that Jehovah struck him down with the incurable bowel disease. In the process of time, at the end of 2 years, his intestines came out and he died in terrible suffering. The customary pomp and ceremony was automated at his funeral. He was 32 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 8 years, and died unmourned. He was buried in Jerusalem, but not in the royal cemetery. Then the people of Jerusalem... I should probably sit in my chair so my back doesn't hurt. I don't know why I'm just sitting here trying to... Here, let me... Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I kind of forgot where I was at. Oh, I remember. Okay. Let me sit down in my chair as well. Then the Lord stirred up the Philistines and the Arabs living next to the Ethiopians to attack Jerusalem. They marched against Judah, broke across the border, and carried away everything of value in the king's palace, including his sons and his wives. Only his youngest son, Johaziah, escaped. It was after this that Jehovah struck him down with the incurable disease. But not in the royal cemetery. Then the people of Jerusalem chose Ahaziah, his youngest son, as their new king, for the marauding bands, Marauding bands of Arabs had killed his older son. Ahaziah was 22 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Athaliah, granddaughter of Amari. He too walked in the evil ways of Ahab, for his mother encouraged him in doing wrong. Yes, he was as evil as Ahab, for Ahab's family became his advisors after his father's death. And they led him on to ruin. Following their evil advice, Ahaziah made an alliance with King Jehoram, or Jehoram, I'm not too sure, of Israel, the son of Ahab, who was at war with King Hazael of Syria at Ramoth Gilead. Ahaziah led his army there to join the battle. King Jehoram of Israel was wounded and returned to Jezreel to recover. Ahaziah went to visit him, but this turned out to be a fatal mistake, for God had decided to punish Ahaziah for his alliance with Jeroboam. It was during this visit that Ahaziah went out with Jehoram to challenge Jehu, son of Nimshi, whom the Lord had appointed to end the dynasty of Ahab. While